Hi everyone, Vega here. In today's video we're going to do a bit of a reaction video. I know that one of our subs, Amelia, has constantly asked for a video on the CETUS constellation, and part of the reason I've never done it before is because I don't really know much about CETUS. So I thought it might be quite good fun to see what my reactions were to the stars of CETUS. So let's get to it. So you can see, first of all, CETUS is the whale constellation. I didn't know that. Let's get a few pictures of CETUS up, shall we? On the screen, let's see what images we can find. So yeah, there's the whale. Doesn't look that much like a whale to me, but a bit of an odd whale. But because that's not perhaps an eye, is it? I don't really know. I'm not a massive whale enthusiast, so let's move on. Obviously, my first thoughts on CETUS are the star Tau Cetus, of course, is the famous one. But let's have a look through. So here we are. We've got the brightest one. It's not a particularly bright constellation. The brightest one with a visual magnitude of 2.04 Beta Cetus. So a quick look at that one. Named Phecda. I don't know how to pronounce that particularly well. Someone else knows. It's actually brighter than the Alpha star, which is quite common, isn't it, in these constellations? Not always the Alpha star that is the main star. It's a K3 giant star, sorry, K0 giant, so very hot for the K class, almost a G class giant. So we're talking about an orange-yellow star. Interesting. How far away is it? Let's have a look. Dipdar, I suppose it's probably pronounced, isn't it? 2.8 solar masses, luminosity of 139 and distance 96. It's quite strange. It's not that far away, is it? And yet it's got quite a high luminosity, so perhaps a little bit dim for a star of its class. Normally Alpha Cetus. Let's look at Alpha Cetus. Menkar. A cool luminous red giant, estimated to be about 250 light years away, with a mass of 2 suns. So if it's a red giant, I'd assume that Menkar was perhaps a star a bit like Vega, maybe in its past, that's swollen up now into an M-class giant star. Yeah, quite interesting star nonetheless. See what the main article says. Merak. Let's look at Merak. Omicron Cetus. I do love these Greek names for stars. They make them sound so incredibly interesting. Another red giant, and again in the region of about 200 to 300 light years. So they're quite point. I noticed about the Cetus, some of the main stars of Cetus are all sort of roughly in our local vicinity. 300 light years, it seems to think there. Look, it's only actually slightly bigger than the Sun at 1.18 solar masses. So you might think, Merak, I've not actually looked at Merak before, so I don't know anything about it. But it sounds to be a bit like the star Arcturus, which is a bit similar to the Sun as well. It was at one point in its life cycle. You might watch the video on Arcturus. It's almost an analogue of where the Sun's going, really, in the future. Interesting here, Omicron has a binary with a white dwarf. And let's have a look at former white, I know that's just a general white dwarf star. Merak, here we are. VZ Cetus. Doesn't say an enormous amount. It'd be quite interesting to know what the progenitor star was for Merak B. I.e. the star it used to be. They're not sure though, are they? It says here Merak B is actually a normal main sequence star, spectral type K. Merak B, roughly 0.7 solar masses. Not sure how they've managed to confuse the two. I'd imagined a main sequence star would be a lot brighter than a white dwarf, but there we go. Alpha Cetus we looked at, didn't we? AA Cetus is a triple star system. Nothing there. brightest member has a magnitude of 6.2, so it's probably not part of the actual constellation then. They perhaps just added it into Wikipedia for the interest. An unusual binary variable star, 8.7 light years from Earth. Okay, right, so it's 2 red dwarfs in our local vicinity. That's very odd, isn't it? Let's have a look. Lisa 65. Don't know, I've not heard of those before, at least under that name. So we've got a small red dwarf star, mid-range red dwarf, 5.5, and then another mid-range at 5.6. To really look at the mass, yeah, very small stars, of course. Red dwarfs, it's interesting. Perhaps for Luyten 7268, both flare stars. I was just confused because Luyten star, of course, is not a flare star, but these are both flare stars, which does make them slightly less interesting, at least to me, because flare stars are more difficult for life to form around. The 7th closest star system to the Earth. Okay, and its nearest neighbour is Tau Cetus. That's interesting as well. That brings me on to Tau Cetus quite nicely. We've done videos on Tau Cetus. You might look at its habitable zone and its possible planets. It's one of the nearest G-class single stars to us. I think it's the nearest after Alpha Centauri. Is that right? Perhaps not. Nearest G-type stars, Tau Cetus is the nearest single G-type star to us, and that's what I thought, yeah, because obviously Alpha Centauri A is not a single star. I won't go on about Tau Cetus, but here's the planetary system. All of them unconfirmed at this point, but there are several within the habitable zone. Perhaps watch the video I did on them if you want to know more. Let's go back to the CETUS constellation. Deep sky objects. Some distant galaxies are visible. Messier 77. A very beautiful galaxy there, just a typical barred spiral. Let's have a quick look at M77. It's got an active galactic nucleus. Only one supernova has been detected in Messier 77 in 2018. Type 2 supernova. Quite interesting, isn't it? I don't know how often supernovas are detected in galaxies. Should we find out? Let's find out. Interesting here that in 1604 the last supernova we've seen in our galaxy in the Milky Way, 20,000 light years from Earth. God, wow, that must have been an incredible sight then. In other galaxies, a supernova occurs every 50 years, it says. So it's perhaps not that surprising then, is it, that only one has been detected in Messier 77, because especially considering we only found out that galaxies existed less than 100 years ago. So obviously they thought they were just nebulas before that. Back to CETUS, of course. There's always a United States Navy cargo ship named after constellations or perhaps slightly obscure stars. That seems to be a common pattern there. Yeah, I don't know, perhaps if Amelia's watching this, perhaps you can let me know if there's anything interesting about CETUS that I've missed out. Just looking obviously at the Wikipedia page. Part of the reason I'm trying to do these videos more is it means I can have more time to do more specific scripted videos. The channel does need. I'm sort of hovering around the monetization mark at the moment. This is the first one you get on YouTube where if you get 3,000 public watch hours you can have memberships. I'm not sure if that's something that really interests me. What really I'd like to do with the channel is to get to the 4,000 hours, where the channel can be monetized by adverts, perhaps just at the beginning and the end of the videos, just to get a few contributions for my efforts. That's partly the reason I'm doing these videos more. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more videos where I'm just basically talking off the top of my head, using Google and whatever sources are at hand. there we are. CETUS constellation has quite a few interesting stars, doesn't it? Particularly the red dwarf. Let's go back to the red dwarf binary system. No, it was UV Zeta, wasn't it? Leuchten City, yeah. These binary red dwarf places must be really fascinating systems. Interesting, in about 31,500 years, Kiilstofte 65 will have a close encounter with Epsilon Eridani. Oh, that is interesting, isn't it? Epsilon Eridani, of course, very interesting local star, with a named planet, if I remember rightly, called Aegea. Yeah, there he is. Aegea, an Old Norse planet. Perhaps check that video if you're not already. I think that'll bring us to the end today. Hope you've enjoyed the video. And let me know in the comments if you've got any ideas. And I'll see you on the next one.